Good morning, everybody. Hey, it's the Renny Doyle podcast, and we've got some special guests in today, and we're kind of doing something new. So this podcast bar we bought like I don't know a year ago, but then the COVID bullshit, it got delayed, and then we've got a little problem with it, and it's actually the bar's badass, but the chairs are a little bit of a problem. So
chairs are short.
Yeah, so we're gonna fix those, but. It's the first time we've had the mic system up, and we've got all of our guests. We're hosting a 5-day training right now. So we're going to go through here in a second and have each one of these beautiful men introduce themselves. What'd you call yourself earlier?
Plush.
Plush.
Yeah.
He says, I'm the plushest guy here. And I said, I don't know. Chris might be in the same. You're going to the gym, though, now, huh?
I was going to the gym.
What the hell?
Well, City of LA has decided to mandate that you show a vaccine passport at the door, and vaccinated or not, I'm not okay with having to show papers at the door.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm not going now.
Yeah, I don't blame you. There's a lot of people that feel that way. I was talking to the gym owner. They've got gyms all over the place, and they're not happy about it. Nobody. There are a lot of people aren't. I can't say nobody is, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that are happy about it. Yeah. But that's a society, and that's up to you. That's up to you, so.
Yeah, well, I figure, I just figure that it can't be something that we do forever, and I don't think we should be doing that part of it at all. And the only way to make a change is to not participate.
There you go.
So that's my thing.
So, hey, Matt, Chris, you cracked me up.
Yeah, because of my dashboard?
Yeah, your dashboard.
So this morning, it's cold here, by the way, in Big Bear. It was 22 on my way to shop this morning, and I'm sitting at a red light, and I hear a loud pop. And half of my dashboard in my Mini Cooper cracked in half.
Yeah, and you just told me a couple days ago that Mini Coopers take special attention or something.
They do. Apparently, they don't like to live in cold weather.
Yeah, Okay, so that's kind of oxymoron because look where most of them or a lot of them live. Pretty cold.
Yeah,
pretty cold environments, right? But how old is yours?
18 years old.
Yeah, 18 years old. So, well, my Chevelle's dash is cracked too. So if that makes you feel better. But it's 54 years old,
yeah.
So a little different. So, hey, we want to thank PNS for sponsoring this. This is always cool. And then we'll start down and we'll work our way around this way. How's that? And just introduce yourself, and you can look at the camera if you want to, or you don't have to. You can look at the gorgeous man across from you, or whatever you want to do.
Ready?
Yeah, ready.
My name's Alfred Halcon. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I'm here to just learn from the best. Excited.
There you go.
Right on.
Plush is up.
Yeah.
That's your new nickname the whole week, dude. Plush.
I started something good then.
Plush.
Chris Lyons. I'm from Humboldt County, California, and been waiting to come to this training for quite a while now.
So you're from Humboldt. Do you smoke weed? No.
I'm going to decline that.
Oh, Humboldt County? You don't know about Humboldt? Come on, man.
Sounds familiar now.
Who knows about Humboldt sitting here? Yeah, come on. Humboldt's like, yeah, Humboldt's like, there's a documentary on Netflix about Humboldt.
Murder Mountain.
Yeah, Murder Mountain, man.
Right.
Dude, dude, it's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy, right?
That's what we're famous for, Murder Mountain on Netflix.
Murder Mountain. Hey, it's okay because the town I was born in, San Bernardino, I don't know if it is right now at this moment, but the murder capital of California.
Yes,
so, we all have stuff. It's just crazy, dude. It's nuts. All right.
I'd rather smoke weed than kill somebody. I'd rather be known for that.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many people that have smoked weed that go kill somebody. Yeah, sure. They just want, when I was a reserve deputy, they usually want hugs. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come in, they want to give you something to eat, or they want to know if you have something to eat.
Hugs and Taco Bell.
Hugs and Taco Bell, dude. It's like, wow. All right, you're up.
I'm Vadim Zwerkowski. I'm from Aiken, South Carolina, and I'm just really excited to finally be here.
That's cool. Right on.
You work. Who do you work with? Tell us.
I work with Chris Williams.
Right on. At
East Coast Customers.
There you go. Got to dig it out of you a little bit.
Shout him out.
All right, Mr. Intern.
And sitting next to me real quick before he says anything, William already commented on the great shirt that you're wearing.
Yeah, look at that. With pride. With pride.
I'm Renzo. Down from Miami, Reflex Electric Detailing. Excited intern after 2 years. A lot of great guys here. Looking forward to getting on this podcast.
It's awesome. All right, down to the end. Here we go.
David Venegas. I live in Waipahu, Hawaii. So I think I'm just here to learn and get better.
Right on, man. Well, welcome, guys. It's always fun to have you guys. So, Cool. Let's dive into it. I think this is a really, I don't know, it's kind of a cool subject. This was your idea.
Yeah.
We got a cool subject tomorrow. We do 3 Bullet Thursday with all of our PNS distributors. Keith came up with a really cool one. Is winterizing your business. Are you ready to winter? And I think that's a cool topic. So anyway, that's involved. You guys can come in and listen in the morning. Matter of fact, you don't have a choice because we're testing IDA testing tomorrow. So we're going to do the webinar tomorrow morning. You guys doing your IDA testing. So it's going to be a really cool, and it's cool. You'll see the inside of what we do with our distributors and stuff like that in our storefronts. So it's going to be really cool. So those that are listening that are involved in Team PNS, tune in tomorrow because it's going to be a good topic. Maybe we might even pass that over into a podcast in the next couple of weeks and kind of take that.
It'd be a good idea.
It would.
Everybody could benefit from it.
So because this one's 3 Bullet, I've got literally under 5 minutes to give it. It's a short 30-minute event for our distributors. So we keep everything just to kind of like bullet points. So that'd be a fun one to kind of do a 30 to 60-minute discussion on. So let's talk about mastering your trade. So when you master your trade, for a lot of people, the word master is just a title. In the mafia, we've got masters. So we have masters in the mafia. We take those pretty serious. To become a master, just to become a maid person takes 2 years, to become a maid detailer. And you have to take and prove yourself to our group. Skills is a low part of it, believe it or not. I've shared this many times. I went out and I talked to different masters of trades. So a master sergeant, how long in the military? Matter of fact, we've got somebody, from the military. How long does it take an average person to reach an E7 or E8 position in the military? I mean, a decade.
15
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. So I talked to my brother, who is a master electrician, and it was a 4-year apprenticeship program, about 4 years as a journeyman. And he says, then a couple of years to really get the experience to really be a master electrician. I talked to my cousin, that's a master plumber. Pretty much the same thing. A decade is like lightning fast. It's 10 to 15 years. I talked to a good friend of mine that's a master chef, cordon bleu trained out of France. And again, the answer was about 10 to 15 years. And so if you're going to master your craft, it doesn't mean that you're not profitable. A lot of people confuse profitability while they're growing your reputation and their skill base. It just means that you're taking and you're getting to be 360 degrees in your trade. Now, we're going to talk about what that takes. And a lot of people in our industry is that I'm really glad we're not all plumbers and have that mentality, because we would see a bunch of pictures with toilet seats, toilets, pipes. Hey, I just laid down this 6-inch pipe. Check this out. I mean, isn't that beautiful? Is that it's crazy on what detailers post up. It's cool because it shows our passion, right? But so many people are taking and showing their pee-pee and how big their pee-pee is compared to the other guy's pee-pee in the industry. They don't give it. They're not concentrating on really what counts. They're marketing to other detailers. But a true master isn't. Now let's talk about what I got so many good friends inside our group and outside our group that I consider a master. That Chris is just going to throw all kinds of shit around, by the way. He's just throwing shit around.
Sorry, my laptop didn't hold its charge.
And so, mastering stuff is it's being 360 degrees badassness all the way around. You guys are learning that right now. You just spent a whole day on interiors. We got another 2-3 hours to do that. And the reason why is that there's so many people right now concentrating on one thing or two things, is paint correction and coating. And when economy crashes and we have to winterize our businesses, and in certain markets, I have actually had dozens of people. I had a guy respond on a post that Chris made last night saying that you can't use steam on certain parts of the car. And I was like, if you know what you're doing, you can, and you won't damage it. Is you got to know what you're doing. How did I realize that? I showed you guys those steamers from 20-something years ago. I mean, they even look old, don't they? I mean, they're just complete different shape and everything else. They look different because it's evolved. Even the steaming companies have mastered being a steaming company. They've bettered their equipment. They've bettered the way they do things. So now let's talk about skills, the foundation for current and future successes. Skills never, it's a diminishing return on skills. You're always going to lose an edge if you don't practice it. I've had people tell me all I do is concentrate on coatings and paint correction. I send all my interior work to another detailer in town. I think that's ludicrous. I'm building up somebody else's life. One of you gentlemen said it yesterday. Worst case, if you love doing paint correction and coatings and you don't want to do interiors, hire somebody. Pay them really, really, really well and make money off of their efforts and give somebody a really good job in future. Don't send that to your competition. Keep that in-house. And I'm going to tell you, there's going to be at some point that you're going to take and need those funds. We're living in the land of milk and honey right now. That's going to change. It always has. It's nothing against past administrations. It's nothing against current administrations. It's the way that the world ticks. We have upswings, we have downswings. The pendulum goes both ways. These skill bases and how deeply that you take and train yourself and work with others is going to say how you get through those times. Because you have a skill set right now, that is a premium, and that's paint correction. That's, and I'm not going to call it a fad because it's not. I don't think it's ever going to go away, but it will diminish when the economy. You watch my words. Is we're not going to have people when the economy comes down. Look what's happening right now with new car deliveries. Who would have guessed 2 years ago that we'd have this shortage going on? Who would have guessed? I mean, I just sold our shop truck.
Yep.
And I sold it. I wanted to get it gone, so I sold it for less than what I really wanted to. I still sold it for $7,000 or $8,000 more than I could have 2 years ago. And I really wanted to get like $4,000 more, but I was like, I don't have time to screw with this. I've got a buyer right now, gone. Get it out of the way. And it was awesome, right? I've got a lease. My car right there, Carvana, is going to confirm next week. They just it's a lease. They want to pay my lease off and give me $6,000 cash. And I'm like,
That's unheard of.
Okay. It's just, but this too shall pass. We're in a time frame. But right now we're striking hard when there's a lot of opportunity with paint correction. But the things we've already taught you on menu design, the things we're going to be doing to that silver Toyota, is that those things right there are mastering 360 degrees. Because right now we're getting the big fat items, the stuff we're making a lot of money on. We're like a squirrel or a bear putting on weight. We're getting right now, our cheeks should be filled with nuts, with corn nuts. We should just have these big old fat, even fatter cheeks than I already have, with corn nuts and storing them up for the wintertime. And then when a slow time happens, the true master, the person that's mastered their trade, is going to take and go from these big, huge items down to 3 or 4 different items that the average consumer wants to buy right now. And that's going to be not even survival money. The smartest tradesmen will take and still, during those slow times, gain ground because they're well balanced, because they're connected to the industry, because they're connected to other people. How cool is that? So now mastering those skills should be verifiable. What do I mean by verifiable? Are you really that good? Okay. First thing that's going to tell you if you're really that good is your profits per hour. It's really, I hate to say this, it's really easy. It's not hard for some of us to go out and make 6 figures in detailing. Okay. And a lot of people will go out and do that, but do you know what they're doing to do that? They just sold their soul. They have no life. They're working 6, 7 days a week, 10, 12, 15 hours a day. I'm sorry. That's not being a master of your trade. That's being a slave to your trade. There's a difference. Let's clarify that. I'm going to repeat that. There's people making good money. Maybe even some making $200,000 a year. But what's it worth to be a slave? I can tell you, I've had small windows of that in my career. And that was the soul sucking part of the business. That's when deep down, not even deep down, those were the times. I just saw somebody, and I wish I could give credit to them. They just posted a really cool pictures when you lose the passion for your when you lose the drive for your passion, when you just kind of hate it. I've been there, and I think we talked about it, but a lot of people have. We talk about the military, and how few people serve. I look at this young man here, and I look at my kids that are Marines, and we're sharing yesterday, David, that could I have done it? Yeah, I could have done it, but I knew the perception of a Marine to me when I was young was a whole different level. That was a whole different level. I kind of veered towards the Air Force way of thinking, the Army way of thinking, the Coast Guard way of thinking. The Marine Corps, that's a different individual. When a person stands up tall, and that's put in your hand, and I can't imagine the day, when that was, that's a whole different level, man. That's a whole different beast. I don't think a lot of people realize. Honestly, I knew it was hardcore, but when my kids went through it and I saw the change in them, I realized right then and there that's a whole different level. Even than our other, nothing against the other branches, but it's a whole different level. Well, mastering your trade's the same way. Being that great, but you know what? It's not enslavement. It's called freedom. Most of us don't look in our industry we don't look at this as a way to freedom. I've got really good friends of mine. I come out a strong heritage within the electrical industry. My uncle was the president of 477 Union, the Brotherhood of Electricians in San Bernardino. My dad, my brothers. I've got two cousins. Is Kathy did something different, and Tim did something different, and I did something different. Everybody else is electricians. Everybody. Let me tell you something. They worked hard, no doubt. All of them worked hard. But you know what they did? That our industry is just starting to pick up on. And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to pat us, several of us, Jim Gogan. You guys are going to meet him. A credible member, one of the founding fathers of the Detail Mafia. Jim and I started on a mission all the way back in 2006 to change that within the industry. And we started with that change among us is because we faced it and said, we cannot let people of our age, back then we're the age of you guys back then, we were in our 30s, is we said, we can't let people do what we did. We've got to train them just like electricians, like tradesmen, to go out and work hard and play hard. And it took us a decade, to A, change some bad habits of ourselves, B, to take and build up the foundation and respect for our industry where the consumers would respect us enough, and then the perceived value within our own minds, within our own hearts, and spread that through an entire industry. Now, there's a lot of other people that took part in this. I can't name them all. Many of the founding fathers of the IDA, many of the founding sisters of the IDA that were with us, that stood up, is that's mastery. So you take a person, and my good buddy, Doug Parfett, we've talked a lot about this week. Let's go back to that analogy, $100,000. It's easy. I hate saying it is. You could drop my old ass off in the middle of a city somewhere in America with nothing. My bald, naked ass somewhere in the middle of America. In the first year, I'll make $100,000 detailing.
Everybody's picturing that in their head right now.
You know what? And there's a lot of freaking people turned on right now, and there's a lot, and the regular people are grossed out. The sick bastards are turned on. The rest of society is really grossed out.
Any of you guys think you work too much already? Are you working 6, 7 days a week?
Okay, here's the youngest guy in the group, and he's shaking his head no.
Yeah.
Don't ever buy. Here's the deal. You're going to have time where, look at this, how many weeks, and we're going to have 60 hours into this week, right? You're going to have to put the turbo boost on every once in a while. That's cool. Just don't make it a regular thing. And we talk about this all the time. So here's again, going back, verifiable. What do I mean by verifiable? First way to verify if you're the real deal is your profits per hour. I micromanage my money, man. Is I go all the way down and I take it all the way down per hour. If you can manage your per hour income, you're going to hit your target income for the year. If you look at that every day, one of the greatest assets we've got now in the detailing industry we didn't have before, all we had is a calculator. Now we got software that will help you out. That's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But you know what? You've got your head. You got a magic marker. I told you guys how to do that every day. You micromanage your hourly, you'll take and hit your goal. And here's the other thing: set parameters. I just went in and it's funny how people think is because I've got a calendar, right? And I went in and blocked out some time. And I blocked out Diane and my time, right? And I had, not Chris, somebody else went in there and said, hey man, I saw that on your calendar. How hard is that? I mean, kind of, don't you want to work that week? And I went, no. As I went in and pre-marked that out, that's time that I'm going to take with my wife. I'm going to escape. We got to lecture this guy because Diane and I have offered to send him and his wife away. And have you done it yet? No. See, but my point is, okay, but you see, there's my point. We do get busy, and I'm picking on him, and I love his dedication, always that way. But at some point, you just got to say no to yourself. This isn't a me and him thing. Is his wife's got a busy career, and her world has been a little disrupted the last couple of years. As a teacher, we're busier than heck, so it's a combination. I understand it, but at some point. You got kids that are in school, young kids, you got dogs, you got all the struggles of life, but you still got to pull the trigger and block some time out.
It's pretty close to nearly impossible to get the stars to align.
It is. It's really, and I remember those days. And those that have got, David, we've talked a lot about, kids, right? And it changed. I put a song up last night on Facebook. Those that follow me on Facebook, I put a song up. And it says slow down. The title of the song is Slow Down. And you listen to the words, and he's talking about how he had taken, and I can't remember who it was. It's a country western star, older one that's been around for a while. Saw him in concert. Can't remember who it is now. But he's talking about how he saw an old friend of his, and they've kind of got disconnected, and how he got busy and just life got away from him, and that you got to kind of slow things down. You got to slow the pace down. And Joe Sabo, those that know Joe, what a great guy. What a great family. Gary, his brother, we lost him not too long ago. DRC Pads, the founders of DRC Pads. Joe put a response back up, and he talked about, going out, and he's so busy, and he had a stressful time. And a friend of his, an old friend, Joe's, pretty close to my age, old friend of his from high school, they all got together, and he says, man, I was busy, but I went, and for a while, I wasn't stressed. And then he says, you know what? My pastor said, it's great. You can be a young father. You can be a husband, but don't lose your identity of yourself. And I'm going to tell you, that's part of mastering your trade. Is that as men and women, if you own a business, if you didn't come in as A-type, you're probably going to develop it into A-type. You're probably going to be pretty hyped up. If you can stay mellow, congratulations. And come rub off on me because it didn't work for me.
Rod Pusey from Road FS is on right now. He says you got to set personal boundaries, never sacrifice your families or your values.
Or yourself. And so many times, David, I talk to you and I see in your face a proud dad of young kids, but I also see a dad that's struggling a little bit because, you just retired out of the military, you're starting this business up. And I remember those days of being like, where the hell did I go? Where am I in this? And, all I can tell you is that, working out and going to the gym an hour a day, going for a walk, going for a 2-3 mile walk every day by yourself with your dog, something like that, just a simple escape of doing something pleasurable that's healthy for you once a day will save a lot of troubles. So now let's talk about mastering skills within our industry. Is that, modern trends in our industry, I think they change a lot more rapidly. Right now, I just saw one of one of the leaders in our industry make a post about GM paint. And he had a middle finger up at the paint, you know, and this is one of our most skilled individuals in the industry. And so many of us feel that way. And I put the same middle finger up, you know, I was like, man, I hate that paint. And guess what? You guys get to go work on here in just a little while, you know, it's GM paint. So here's the deal though, is those modern trends, systems, processes, technology, increased abilities. If you're not taking and attending stuff 2, 3, 4 times a year, you're behind. If you're not connecting with the industry, you're behind. Is that my brother sold his company here in California. When everything went nuts, my brother was smart. He called his realtor, put his property up for sale, called a broker, put his business up for sale, liquidated, and got the hell out of here. Maximum velocity out of everything he owned. And he's an electrician at a nuclear power plant up in Washington State. So he's not hurting. He's doing pretty well. But he's also now back to the grind to where he kind of hates it because he's having to, you know, he's mastered his trade. He's mastered his abilities. He's sold out, but also now he's working for somebody again, you know, and, you know, it's not for very long. He set himself up where he's in a good position. But his point was, hey, man, with the government being at a nuclear facility, you would not believe the amount of continuing education I've got to do. And I said, no, you know what, dude? You wouldn't believe the amount of continued education that most detailers don't do. Is the top 3% is for us to go to events is not an option. You have to go. SEMA is not an option. You have to go. The socializing is great. Everything's great. But what I learned from rubbing elbows with other professionals is priceless. What I learn and go hear other people from other industries speak about is priceless. When I go to Mobile Tech and I watch how the PDR guys are marketing things, that's priceless. Now the PDR guys, we used to be kind of the runts. Now the PDR guys really respect us as detailers. We've changed the industry that much. We've stood the industry up that much where the PDR guys that were king now look at us and go, wow, that's pretty cool. And we go and we rub elbows with those guys. Some of them have no idea what we do as detailers, and some of us don't have any idea what they do as PDR techs. But we rub elbows with them, and guess what, man? That greases the machine, and it makes us more viable and valuable within our industries.
We got GR on YouTube commented that school is never out for the professional.
Oh God, I love that saying. I love that. You know, and again, is that you'll go through military wise, search and rescue wise, police wise, EMS wise, constantly going to school education. Some of it's complete bullshit and some of it's legitimate. I learn every day. I'm a huge reader. I've got a book in my hand every day. It's either an electronic book, audible book, or a hard copy book. I've tried to mix up my books now. I do one book business, one book pleasure, one book business, one book pleasure, and I keep going back. Because the more pleasure you feed your mind, the better off you are. Also, as you start aging, I got news for you guys. Everybody's going to get old. That's the goal. Steve Harvey always said it, and I say it right now. That's the goal, man. You're going to get old, and you better keep yourself functioning and able to learn as you get older, because you don't want to be one of those people that doesn't go anywhere as you get older. So, mastering your trade means knowing your numbers. It's really important. Let's go back to that. Spoke about it again. Micromanage your numbers. Know what you're producing every day that you work. Never not know what you're producing. Because here's why. If you start getting a trend where you're not making money, you're going to know it that day. If you've got a trend where you're making more money on certain services, guess what you're going to start selling more of? Is that you go to any restaurant that has got a menu with a number one meal on it. Why do they have that number one meal there? Because I guarantee you, it's easy to sell and it's profitable. Is you got to stop thinking. Just you know what artists have in common? There's two things that most artists have in common. Not all, but most. And it's the same with entrepreneurs. When most artists die, and they all do, they're broke. You know what most entrepreneurs have in common? We're all going to die, and most of us are broke. We don't have shit to show for it when the journey's over. You know, and that's a shame. You can't be that that number. You got to be something better than that. So let's give you some takeaways, shall we? So before we do that, you know, we want to thank our friends at Great Guard. You guys, you know, I've got one here. You can see it's pretty used. It's got dirt on it and everything else.
It's a little gross. Actually.
It's a little gross, actually. It's been in a bucket quite a bit. I use these things a lot, you know, in the bucket, you know, to keep your wash solutions all clean and everything else is really cool. But you know what I use them for a lot is that when you're working on trays and stuff and you're setting your polisher down, the polisher goes on the ground, it goes on the tray, dirt goes with it on the tray. So a lot of times what I do, if I've got pads, I'll put a grit guard down on my tray and put my pads on the grit guard to keep my pads that I'm using on the car away from any soils that are on the tray. So I use these things for a lot more than this. Matter of fact, when we go camping, I've got two of these. I place for my outdoor shower. I've got two of them. I place a foot on one, a foot on the other one, so the water goes through. So they're pretty useful. Grit guard, you can pay me a commission later on camping items. So it's pretty cool.
Well, you know, the team at Grit Guard too is pretty awesome because they were one of our big sponsors this year at the Air Force One project.
Let me tell you, it's a family-owned business. The Lamb family owned this company. A lot of people don't realize this. They are one of the sweetest families that you'll ever meet. They're all involved in the business. They're all just absolute professionals, and they're just incredible humans. They're just good people. They have done so much for our industry. They support it at every event. If we need something, they're there. We absolutely love them.
You know, and I'm going to just continue on this just real quick. There's a lot of copycat products out there, but the people that have innovated this stuff, created it, brought it to market, which helps us, and then they've supported our industry, they're the ones you need to support. So think about that. The ones that are supporting our industry, giving back to being part of it instead of just taking your money and selling you something cheap that was made in China that copies the original, you know?
It's a great point. And detailers are famous for this because you know what they'll do? Detailers bitch. When somebody knocks one of their ideas off, oh my God, can you believe what that individual did? I'm the originator of that. And then they go buy cheap shit that's a knockoff.
Yep.
You know, it's like, that's an oxymoron. And so paying a little bit more for the original, that's a good point, Chris. So, hey man, so let's talk about three major points. None of us will ever know it all. Is that when you say that, man, there's nothing somebody can teach me, you're a moron. You're an absolute, your ego is going to catch up with you at some point and it's going to get you. Simple as that. Is that anybody that says that I know it all, or I don't need that, or I nobody can teach me anything, you know, stay away from me. I don't even want to be around you. I mean, you're a curse, dude. You've got a black cloud dragging around with you, and I don't want any part of it. I don't want lightning to strike and hit me. You know, when I'm around that individual, those kind of individuals will suck the soul right out of you. You can't be around that kind of energy. And most of those people are either marginally successful or completely broke. And a lot of them are the ones on the online that are selling a big story, and they got a short, thin book written in crayon. In reality, next, people will always be able to give you input to better yourself. Anytime, listen, we are dealing sometimes with people that have money. We are dealing with people either they earned it the easy way through family, or they earned it the hard way of going out and building themselves up. Man, sit down when they're comfortable with you and just say, hey, if you had one piece of advice for a business owner, what would it be? And you know what? A lot of them will gain respect for you, and they'll shine, and they'll give you advice. Matter of fact, some of the best ones, I met a gentleman one time that was, I knew he was wealthy just because we were out there, but I didn't know what he did. And it turned out he was really somebody, and he changed my life. He changed my professional life. He also changed my personal life because he shared how destructive he was in his personal life while building his empire, and said, don't do what I did. So that was really valuable. And then lastly, don't compare yourself to anybody else. This is your journey. Go custom make your business to take and allow you it works around your life that you want. Whether you have kids, you don't have kids, whether you have hobbies that you like to do, Live where you want to live. Do what you want to do. Just go where you want to go. Build your business around what you want to be. Don't even look at anybody else. Don't pay attention. I watch them, but I don't watch other detailers. I never have. I keep my eye on what the industry's doing. My eye's always been above that. I watch other businesses that have been way more successful than us and bring it back into our industry. I look at guys, here's the deal is I've probably limited myself. We talked about implanting visions. I was never a guy that looked at it and said, oh man, I want to fly around in a private jet. I didn't really want that. I wanted to own my time. My goal was just to own my time, have fun, and give back. At 20, in my early 20s, I started giving back, real early 20s. Even before that, volunteering, my careers, everything was about that. I never had that vision. Could I have done those things? Sure, I could have. Was I willing to pay the price? Yeah, I probably paid an equal price to those guys. I just wasn't as smart about it, And then lastly, love what you do. Remember why you do it. It's a big key thing. Remember why you do it. All right, Chris. Well, I think that's it for the day. So I think I think we got through it. So
you guys were just kind of along for the ride. Do you have any closing remarks? Anything you want to add? No.
Happy to be here.
Cool, Brandon. Right on. Yeah, there you go. Jeez, I knew that was going to come up. All right, guys. Well, hey, have a prosperous day, man. Go out and make yourself a master your trade. More importantly, master your life. Enjoy life, man. It's short. You never know when the expiration date. We all have an expiration date stamped somewhere on us, but it's invisible. We don't know what it's going to be. We really don't. So you got to go out and enjoy your life while you've got it, and be good to one another. So take care. I appreciate you guys taking in and listening in today. Again, if you've enjoyed this, please share it. Make a comment below. Let us know what you want to hear about. And then subscribe if you're on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And then you know what? If you really want to make an impact in other people's lives, which will actually change your life, is share this thing so other people can see it. So appreciate it.
If you guys have any questions for us at all or anything, our email addresses are up on the screen. It's Renny@detailingsuccess.com, Chris@detailingsuccess.com. Happy to help you out and also point you in the right direction too if you want to continue your detailing education.
Cool. All right, guys. Take care, man. Be happy. Happy detailing.